Very good morning, students. So today I am going to teach you about resource planning in India. As we have in the previous class discussed about why we need resource planning. As we know that resources are not equally distributed. Some regions are deficient in resources, some regions are sufficient in resources. For that reason, we need a proper planning or strategy for the development of resources as well as for the development of economy. For that, let's discuss about the resource planning in India. Why we need a resource planning in India? As we know that India is a very diverse country, and here we have different regions which are rich in different kind of resource. For example, our northern west region like the Rajasthan region, Gujarat region, this region are rich in the resource of solar energy and wind energy. Same like the northeast region of our country are rich in water resource. The Chotanagpur Plateau region is rich in mineral resources. So we have variety kind of resources in variety region. That's why our India also need resource planning. So student, before discussing about the resource planning in India, we should know that what are the stages which are involved in the resource planning. The stages involved in the resource planning, the first is the identification and inventory of the resource. Again I am telling, identification and inventory of the resource by surveying, mapping and knowing the quantity and quality of the resource. So we can get to know about the quality and quantity of the resource with the help of survey and mapping, and about its also inventory. Second stage which involved in the resource planning is the evolving a planning. We have to make a planning how to use the resource and what amount of resource we'll use. That needs a proper planning. Not only proper planning, it also requires proper technology and institutional setup. With the proper technology and institutional setup, we can use the resource to its 100%. The third and most important is the resource planning should match with the national development planning or national development program, because as we know that resource development and nation development or economy development of the country go hand in hand. So while discussing about the total development of the country, we also need to discuss about the resource development program. So resource development program as well as the national development program should match with each other. Then we will discuss about planning in India during the colonial period. Ready, start. Resource planning during the colonial period. Student, if we know about the colonial period, we can say this is the period when there were a lot of development occurs in India, like the expansion of railway, okay, like the settlement of industries. All these things are occurred during the colonial period, and this is the period when we have also developed the technology for utilizing the resource. But student, this is the period when the Britishers or the companies who set up colony over India, they also exploited the resources in India. They use the resources in a indiscriminate way. Due to that, a lot of resource from our country get more into the worst of extent. So whatever, let's discuss about what Gandhian view about the resource conservation. So first of all, what is resource conservation? Why we need to conserve the resource, and what is the idea of Gandhiji about the resource conservation? So let's discuss about resource conservation. Means preserving or conserving the resource for the future generation. So here student, So how to conserve and why should we conserve? Because as we know that most of the resources which are being used by human beings are non-renewable in nature. Most of the resources which are used by human beings are non-renewable in nature. As they are non-renewable, they take a very long period to reform or take a very long period for the formation. For that reason, we have to conserve the resource. As we know that when we consume resource like fossil fuel, it also produces a lot of hazardous gases like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. If we will not use in a judicious way, then it may cause the environmental degradation. And another reason for the resource conservation is that resource is a very important thing in human life, play a very important thing in human life because it is essential for the survival of human being. For that reason, we have to conserve the resource for our future generations so that our development of the future generation can be done in a smooth way. So what is the idea of Gandhiji about the resource development or resource conservation? As you know that Gandhiji is a great philosopher and he had given a lot of idea in different fields. In resource conservation also, he said that there is enough resource for everyone need but not for anyone greed. Again I am telling, he said that there is enough resource for everyone need but not for anyone greeds. That means we have provided lot of resource by the nature earth to us, but we have to use it in a judicious way. If we use it for fulfilling our greeds, then no doubt these resources will be extinct or finished. So Gandhiji also against the mass production. Gandhiji is also against the industrialization. He believed in self-reliance. He believed that the meal culture should not be adopted within our country because it may lead to the over exploitation of resource and which may lead to resource depletion within our country. For that reason, this is all about the Gandhian view about the resource conservation. Next we will go to discuss about the land resource. Next we are going to discuss about land as a resource. As you know that among all the resources, land is a resource also because we use the land for variety of purposes. We use the land for agriculture, we use the land for extracting the mineral, we use the land for what? Now for underground water, we use the land as a base for settlement and we use the land for what? Now for other purposes. So let's students discuss about the land resource. In India, 90% of the land being used by the Indians. 93% land is being used by the Indians and another 7% is under or occupied by the China and another is occupied by the Pakistan, come under the POK, and some regions are not yet surveyed which are mostly located in the northern eastern region. So we are using only 97% of our land. As we know that the total area of India is, can you tell me? The total area is 3.8 million square kilometer. Okay, so this area is being used for variety of purposes. Mostly we use 93%, another 7% as I have discussed. So from that 93%, 43% is under the plain. If we take that 93% as 100, again I am telling, if we take that 90% as 100, then 43% is come under plain, and this plain is used for variety of purposes like agriculture, industries, transportation. It is used for infrastructure, it is used for settlement, So this 43% is being used for this purpose. Now come to 30% is under mountain. This 30% is used for what? And is the source of perennial rivers. Most of the perennial rivers of our country is originated from the mountainous region, and it is also known for its beautiful sceneries. That's why many tourism spots are located within the mountainous region. These mountainous regions are also rich in natural vegetation and wildlife and help us to maintain the ecological balance within our country. Now let's discuss about the 27% of plateau. This 27% of plateau are mostly dedicated to for mineral deposits. In this 27% of plateaus, we have many mineral deposits like iron, coal, many other bauxites. These are located within this region. Not only that, plateau having also known for many beautiful waterfalls as well as for beautiful scenic beauties. That's why it being attracted by the tourists of different part of the world being attracted to these places. Not only that, the plateau regions are also known for originating place of many seasonal rivers. So this is all about the use of different physical features within our country. So students, now we'll discuss about the land utilization.